YouTube, Fireboy716 of Team Overdrive 82, here with Destiny Hero Twilight Dude.
Twilight Dude, man.
Old teammate just never made a video on here, and he will be showing us his scrap deck.
Alright guys, first off, 3 copies of Scrap Beast. It's a staple level 4 tuner. If it's destroyed by the effect of a scrap card, I get to add 1 scrap monster other than Beast to my hand. Nice card. Second, 3 scrap chimeras. It's a level 4 that fetches one of my tuners from the graveyard. It has to be used to synchro summon into a scrap monster with only other scrap monsters. So he gets out like Scrap Dragon or Scrap Twin a little easier than a lot of the other cards. Next, 3 copies of Scrap Goblin. Level 3 tuner. His effect is he can't be destroyed by battle, so he can combo with a couple of my other cards really well. His second effect is, if he's attack while in defense mode, I can search another scrap monster, except for Scrap Goblin, out of my graveyard, put it in my hand. Next I have 2 copies of Scrap Golem. Now this seems like a really weird choice because it's a level 5, but his other effect is, or his only effect is, I can special summon 1 scrap monster to either player's side of the field. So I can either summon like Scrap Beast and synchro into Scrap Twin, or summon Goblin, synchro into Scrap Dragon or Stardust. But I can also summon Scrap Goblin in attack mode to my opponent's side of the field. So if I can attack through that and just deal crazy amounts of life point damage. Next up, I have 2 copies of Swift Scarecrow. He's really only here because he serves the same purpose as Battle Fader without the summoning. I do intend on changing that later, but for now it's nice to just have a battle negation period. Next I've got 1 copy of Raikou Lightsworn Hunter. He destroys a card on my opponent's side of the field, and then I can mill more, so I can possibly hit one of my Scrap Beasts or Scrap Goblins, anything that'll really be better off in the graveyard. Gores, extra summon and a token if I take battle damage. Cyber Dragon, because he's a meaty monster that can special summon himself, so that I can normal summon one of my other tuners, Synchro, GG. And finally, for my monsters, Spirit Reaper. Can't be destroyed by battle and it's level 3, so it's really nice synchro material. Now for my spells. I've got 3 copies of Scrap Storm. Its effect, I can select 1 scrap monster on my side of the field, dump a scrap monster to my graveyard, then draw 1 card, and then destroy the scrap monster. So he works really well with my other scraps effects that would normally kill themselves. So that's how I can get something good. I run a single copy of Scrapyard. It lets me add 1 scrap tuner from my deck to my hand, so I can add anything that'll really help me get a quick synchro summon off. 2 MST, spell trap removal, really basic stuff. Foolish Burial puts any of my scrap monsters in the graveyard for later summoning with Chimera or Monster Reborn. Speaking of Monster Reborn, brings back a monster from my graveyard or my opponent's graveyard. Next, Mind Control. It's a pretty good staple with synchros, in my opinion. Lets me take control of one of my opponent's monsters. If it's face down, I flip it face up and then synchro. Dark Hole, monster removal. Book of Moon. If I don't want you attacking me, I can put your monster face down, or if you attack into a face-up Raikou, I can put it face down and then get its effect again, which is nice.
Too bad it's only at 1.
Yeah, too bad. And finally, Giant Trunade. It's spell trap removal / stall. And finally, for the traps, I run 2 copies of Deep Prison. Monster removal. If my opponent attacks, I can remove it from play without any real worries. I run 2 bottomless trap holes. Monster removal, if the monster has 1500 or more attack points. Really good against Formula Monarchs, or if my opponent gets off a synchro summoning that I just don't want on the field. Except for Stardust, sadly. 2 Dust Tornadoes. Same thing as MST, but it's a trap. It's a trap! Triangle Tribute. My opponent gets out monsters I don't like, I destroy them. Trap Hole. Again, an odd one, but it helps because it takes out any normal summoning, basically. You're not going to be normal summoning unless you have a decent plan for it. Magic Drain. Now this is another weird choice, but if nobody's running Heavy Storm anymore because it's banned, they're going to be feeling better setting more cards, and sometimes those cards can be spell cards. But this forces the difficult choice. Get off that spell card that you want to use, and discard a card, like another spell that could be used later, or have your card negated, period. And finally, Solemn Judgment. Pay half your life points, negate anything. Really interesting card. Not much I can say about it other than it negates everything. And there you go. That's the scrap deck. Finally, I guess, for the extra deck, I might as well show you. I run one each of the main Signer Dragons because they're staples. Stardust, obvious, like, negates destruction effects. Red Dragon Archfiend, because he's a powerhouse. Black Rose Dragon if I don't like the field. Scrap Dragon, I plan on getting more than one copy, but until then, it's a scrap. First effect, everybody knows it. Blow up one card you control and one card your opponent controls. His second effect's what's really the meat and potatoes behind him for the scrap deck. If he's destroyed by battle or by a card effect that my opponent uses, I can summon a non-synchro scrap. So can we say hello to Scrap Golem again? I run 2 copies of Scrap Twin Dragon. He's a little bit better than Scrap Dragon in that he bounces the cards to the hand instead of putting them in the graveyard where they're more useful. But it also blows up one of my cards, so I can blow up a scrap monster or something and get its effect. It has the same effect as Scrap Dragon. Second effect, obviously, where if he's destroyed, I can summon a non-synchro scrap and repeat the process again. A single Scrap Archfiend because he's a level 7 scrap. I don't recall there being any others that are level 7. He can attack straight over Stardust. Pretty interesting choice on my part, but I like him. And finally, Colossal Fighter, Iron Chain, Bryanak, and Catastor. Iron Chain, he's a level 6. He replaces the Goyo. And if I deal damage, I can mill my opponent's deck to death. Colossal Fighter, 2,800 points of awesome. And if he's destroyed, I can summon him back, essentially, with his effect. Bryanak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, discard cards to bounce cards, which is always nice. Gets rid of the Stardust that's preventing me from destroying stuff. And Catastor, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you know what Catastor does. If he attacks anything that's non-dark, I immediately destroy it. There's no getting around it except with Stardust's effect, which is nice. And that's it this time, I swear.
Okay, guys, 5x716
and destinyhertwilightdude
signing out. Don't forget to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe.